Law of One. Written and published by Sprit 10. We begin our journey of awakening by exploring the most fundamental truth of existence. You are not who you think you are. The identity you've carried throughout your life, complete with its name, history, characteristics, and limitations, is merely a temporary role you've agreed to play in the grand theater of life. Your true nature is infinite consciousness choosing to experience itself through the vehicle of human form. This infinite consciousness, which we might call awareness or presence, is the unchanging witness behind all your changing experiences. It is the constant observer that has watched your body grow from infancy to adulthood, witnessed countless thoughts parade through your mind, and felt the full spectrum of human emotions. This awareness has remained pristine and untouched while everything else has transformed around it. Consider how you can close your eyes and still know that you exist. This knowing of existence requires no thought, no effort, and no external validation. It is your natural state of being, ever present and unchanging. This is the first glimpse of your true identity, pure awareness itself. Playing the game of being human, the human experience, with all its drama, challenges, and adventures, is a sophisticated virtual reality game that consciousness has designed for itself. Just as you might become thoroughly engrossed in a compelling movie or video game, consciousness has become deeply identified with its human character. The game is so immersive that we've temporarily forgotten our true nature as the player of the game. This forgetting serves a purpose. It allows for authentic experiences, genuine growth, and the full spectrum of human emotions. Without temporarily forgetting our infinite nature, the game wouldn't be convincing enough to facilitate real learning and evolution. The limitations and challenges we face as humans are not punishment or mistakes, but carefully crafted scenarios designed to promote spiritual growth and self-discovery. Your body, thoughts, and emotions are like the avatar, controls, and feedback mechanisms in this game of life. They are tools through which infinite consciousness experiences the physical dimension. When you understand this, you can begin to hold these aspects of experience more lightly without becoming completely identified with them. This understanding doesn't diminish the importance or validity of your human experience. Quite the opposite, it enhances it by providing context and purpose to everything you encounter. Every interaction, every challenge, every joy and sorrow becomes part of the magnificent adventure of consciousness exploring itself through form. The key to experiencing this truth directly is to shift your attention from the content of your experience to the awareness in which all experience occurs. Instead of being absorbed in thoughts, emotions, and sensations, notice the space of consciousness in which they appear. This space is your true identity, vast, peaceful, and unbound by any limitation. As you go about your daily activities, practice remembering that you are not just the character in the game, but the infinite consciousness playing the game. Notice how this remembrance naturally brings a sense of spaciousness and freedom to your experience. The problems and challenges that seem so overwhelming to your character become more manageable when viewed from the perspective of the greater awareness that you are. This understanding of your true identity as infinite consciousness is not just a philosophical concept, but a living truth that can be directly experienced in any moment. It is the foundation upon which all spiritual awakening rests and the key to transcending suffering. When you know yourself as the infinite awareness in which all experience occurs, you are free to fully enjoy the game of human life while remaining anchored in the peace of your true nature. Lesson 1. Every person reflects another aspect of your greater self. We live in a magnificent universe where every person we encounter serves as a mirror reflecting different aspects of our greater self back to us. This profound truth transforms our understanding of relationships and human interactions, revealing the deeper unity that connects us all. When we truly grasp this principle, our entire perspective on relationships shifts from separation to recognition of our shared essence. The people we meet in life are not random encounters but deliberate reflections of our own consciousness. Those who trigger strong emotions within us, whether positive or negative, are showing us parts of ourselves that need attention, healing, or celebration. The angry person who frustrates us might be reflecting our own suppressed anger. The confident individual we admire might mirror our untapped potential. Even the qualities we judge in others represent aspects of ourselves we haven't yet acknowledged or accepted. This mirror principle operates continuously in our daily interactions. Our relationships become our greatest teachers, offering opportunities for deep self-discovery and growth. When we react strongly to someone's behavior, it's beneficial to pause and ask ourselves what this reaction reveals about our own inner landscape. Are we judging in others what we fear or deny in ourselves? Are we attracted to qualities we wish to develop more fully? Understanding this reflection principle dissolves the barriers we create between ourselves and others. The stranger on the street, the difficult colleague, the loving friend, all are expressions of the same consciousness that we are. Their struggles are our struggles. Their joy is our joy. Their journey is our journey. This recognition naturally cultivates compassion and understanding as we realize that in helping others, we help ourselves, and in judging others, we judge ourselves. Consider how this awareness can transform challenging relationships. Instead of seeing others as separate entities causing us problems, we can view them as mirrors showing us where we need to grow. The critical parent might be reflecting our own inner critic. The needy friend might be showing us parts of ourselves that need nurturing. By accepting and working with these reflections, we heal not only our relationships but our own consciousness. The practice of seeing yourself in others requires presence and a willingness to look beyond surface differences. It involves recognizing that the qualities we most admire and most despise in others exist within us in some form. This doesn't mean we become passive in the face of harmful behavior, but rather that we respond from a place of understanding our fundamental connectedness. In daily life, we can practice this principle by approaching each interaction as an opportunity for self-discovery. When someone triggers an emotional response, we can pause and ask, what part of myself am I seeing here? When we feel drawn to someone's qualities, we can recognize these as aspects of our own potential. This practice gradually dissolves the illusion of separation and reveals the underlying unity of all beings. As we embrace this understanding, our relationships become more authentic and meaningful. We move beyond superficial interactions to recognize the sacred dance of consciousness reflecting itself through countless forms. Every encounter becomes an opportunity for growth, healing, and awakening to our true nature. The mirror principle reminds us that we are not isolated people but interconnected expressions of one greater consciousness. By seeing ourselves in others and others in ourselves, we participate in the gradual awakening of humanity to its essential unity. This recognition leads to more harmonious relationships, deeper self-understanding, and the dissolution of the barriers that create suffering in our lives. Lesson 2. Pain exists only in the dream of separation from Source. Pain is not our natural state of being. It emerges from the profound illusion that we are separate from the infinite source of all creation. This fundamental misunderstanding creates a deep sense of isolation, fear, and suffering that permeates human experience. Yet when we awaken to the truth of our divine nature and unbreakable connection to Source consciousness, we begin to see pain for what it really is, a temporary dream state calling us back to remembrance of our true identity. The experience of separation began when infinite consciousness chose to explore itself through countless individual perspectives, like waves arising from an infinite ocean. Each soul emerged as a unique expression while remaining eternally one with the whole. Over time, these individual aspects became so absorbed in their specific roles and stories that they forgot their true nature as the ocean itself. This forgetting gave birth to the dream of separation, a convincing but ultimately illusory state of disconnection from our source. Within this dream state, pain serves as a powerful catalyst for awakening. Physical, emotional, and spiritual suffering all point to the same core wound, the belief that we are isolated beings cut off from the love, wisdom, and abundance of universal consciousness. Our longing for connection, meaning, and belonging reflects the soul's deep knowing that separation is not our natural state. Pain persistently reminds us that something is out of alignment with truth. The good news is that awakening from this dream is always possible. In any moment, pain dissolves naturally when we remember and realign with our essential nature as expressions of Source consciousness. This doesn't mean we bypass or deny difficulty, but rather we learn to experience life's challenges from a broader perspective of wisdom and understanding. We begin to see how every experience serves our evolution and expansion. Simple practices can help us maintain awareness of our connection to Source, even amid life struggles. Meditation allows us to experience the vast, peaceful presence that exists beyond our temporary human identity. Spending time in nature reminds us of the interconnected web of life we're part of. Acts of service help us feel our oneness with others. Even pain itself can be a doorway to awakening when we meet it with gentle presence rather than resistance. As we cultivate awareness of our true nature, we naturally release the habits of thought and behavior that perpetuate suffering. We stop taking things so personally. We let go of the need to control outcomes. We trust in the greater wisdom orchestrating our journey. We remember that we are eternal consciousness having a temporary human experience. This remembrance doesn't necessarily eliminate pain, but it transforms our relationship with it. The dream of separation also contains profound gifts. By temporarily forgetting our infinite nature, we get to experience the joy of remembering through contrast with pain. We develop a deeper appreciation for peace and well-being. Our struggles build compassion and wisdom that serve the evolution of the whole. Even our darkest moments can be portals to a greater awakening when we understand their deeper purpose. Pain exists to guide us home to truth. It persists only as long as we believe in separation. As we awaken to our eternal nature as source consciousness expressing through form, suffering naturally dissolves into peace. This doesn't mean we bypass the human experience, but rather we learn to embrace it fully while maintaining awareness of our deeper identity. We come to see that even pain is a sacred aspect of the journey back to conscious oneness with all that is. The invitation is to meet our pain with gentle presence and curiosity rather than resistance, to ask what it might be trying to show us about where we've forgotten our true nature, to remember that we are vast, eternal consciousness temporarily dreaming the experience of separation. As we awaken to this truth, we discover that freedom from suffering was always our natural state. Lesson 3. This reality is a divine playground for spiritual evolution. Our physical reality serves as an intricate and purposeful playground designed for the evolution of consciousness. Like children at play, we are here to explore, create, and grow through direct experience. This earthly dimension provides the perfect environment for souls to engage in the dance of existence, trying on different roles and circumstances that facilitate profound spiritual development. The physical world operates as a sophisticated simulation where souls can fully immerse themselves in the experience of separation and limitation. These apparent constraints create the friction necessary for growth, much like resistance training builds physical strength. Through this divine play, we get to experience the full spectrum of human emotion, relationship dynamics, and life situations that push us toward greater awareness. What many perceive as the harsh or random nature of reality is actually an exquisitely crafted stage for our spiritual evolution. Every challenge, every joy, every seemingly mundane moment contains within it the seeds of awakening. The density and limitation of physical form provide the perfect container for consciousness to know itself through contrast and variety of experience. This playground comes equipped with natural laws and universal principles that guide our development. The law of cause and effect, the principle of polarity, the cycle of birth and death. These are not arbitrary rules but loving guardrails that ensure our growth through experience. Like a well-designed game, this reality has built-in feedback mechanisms that help us learn and evolve. We often forget that we chose to participate in this earthly adventure before incarnating. Our souls eagerly anticipated the opportunity to grow through direct experience in physical form. While the amnesia of forgetting our divine nature can feel overwhelming at times, this too serves the greater purpose of our evolution. The journey of remembering who we truly are provides some of our most profound opportunities for spiritual expansion. The beauty of this divine playground lies in its infinite possibilities for experience and expression. Through free will, we get to choose how we engage with the game of life. We can approach it with resistance and suffering, or we can embrace it as the sacred play it truly is. When we shift our perspective to see reality as a cosmic playground rather than a prison of limitation, everything transforms. This physical dimension allows us to explore the full spectrum of duality, light and dark, joy and pain, love and fear. Through these contrasts, we come to know ourselves more deeply. Every experience serves as a mirror reflecting aspects of our consciousness that seek integration and evolution. The playground provides the perfect setting for this exploration of self. Your daily life contains countless invitations for growth and awakening. Each interaction, challenge, and celebration offers an opportunity to know yourself more fully as the infinite consciousness having a human experience. The key is to approach life with the wonder and curiosity of a child at play while maintaining the wisdom to see the deeper purpose within all experiences. When we truly understand that this reality is a divine playground, we can release the heavy seriousness with which we often approach life. We can embrace both the light and shadow aspects of existence as essential elements of the game. We can play full out while remembering that our eternal nature remains untouched by the dramas unfolding on the stage of life. This playground provides the perfect environment for consciousness to evolve through direct experience. Every soul who chooses to incarnate here does so with profound purpose and wisdom. By remembering the sacred nature of this reality as a divine training ground for spiritual evolution, we can engage more fully in the game while maintaining perspective on its ultimate purpose, the expansion and expression of infinite consciousness through the vehicle of human experience. Lesson 4. Love dissolves illusions that create human suffering. Love is the ultimate force of transformation, capable of dissolving the deepest illusions that create human suffering. When we truly understand and embody unconditional love, we begin to see through the veils of separation, fear, and limitation that have kept us bound in cycles of pain. This love is not the conditional emotional attachment we often mistake it for, but rather the pure, unlimited essence of our true nature. The illusions that create suffering are many, but they all stem from the core belief in separation. We believe we are separate from each other, from nature, from the divine, and even from our own hearts. This perceived separation generates fear, judgment, competition, and countless forms of emotional and psychological pain. Yet love, in its highest form, reveals the truth of our interconnectedness and dissolves the barriers effortlessly. When we approach our pain with love, something remarkable happens. Instead of fighting against our suffering or trying to escape it, we create space for healing. This is because love accepts all things exactly as they are, without condition or judgment. In this acceptance, the energy that maintains our illusions begins to dissolve naturally. Our resistance, which has been feeding our pain, gradually melts away in the warmth of loving awareness. Practicing self-love is particularly powerful in this process of dissolution. Many of us carry deep-seated beliefs about our unworthiness or inadequacy. These beliefs create intense suffering and block us from experiencing our natural state of joy and peace. By cultivating genuine self-love, not mere self-improvement or self-help, we begin to see through these false beliefs. We recognize them as learned patterns rather than absolute truths about who we are. Love consciousness extends far beyond personal healing. As we embody more love in our daily lives, we naturally affect everyone around us. Our presence becomes a mirror reflecting back to others their own divine nature. The field of love we generate helps others see through their own illusions and remember their true essence. This is how love works collectively to transform human consciousness. The practice of love requires courage and commitment. It asks us to remain open-hearted even when facing difficulty or pain. It invites us to love not only what feels easy to love, but also what we've judged as unlovable. This includes our shadows, our perceived enemies, and the parts of ourselves we've long rejected. As we extend love to all aspects of experience, the boundaries between lover and beloved begin to blur. Love also reveals the illusory nature of time and space. In moments of deep love, we touch the eternal and infinite. Past hurts lose their grip, future anxieties fade, and we find ourselves fully present in the now. This is because love exists beyond the confines of linear time, in the realm of pure being. When we access this love, we simultaneously access our timeless nature. The dissolution of illusions through love doesn't mean life becomes perfectly smooth or that challenges disappear. Rather, we develop a new relationship with whatever arises. We learn to meet all experiences with an open heart, knowing that even difficulties are expressions of the one love manifesting in countless forms. This shift in perspective fundamentally transforms our experience of suffering. To live in love consciousness is to recognize that love is not something we need to acquire or achieve. It is what remains when all illusions fall away. It is our natural state, our true home, our essential nature. As we align more fully with this truth, we become living demonstrations of love's power to heal and transform. We become clear channels through which divine love can flow into the world, dissolving illusions not just for ourselves but for all beings. The path of love is both simple and profound. It asks only that we remain open, willing to see through our illusion, and committed to choosing love in each moment. As we do this, we participate in the greatest healing possible, the awakening of humanity to its true nature as pure, unlimited love. Lesson 5. Your struggles are sacred lessons chosen by infinite wisdom. From the highest perspective, every challenge you face in life is a carefully chosen opportunity for growth and expansion. Before incarnating into this physical form, your soul, in its infinite wisdom, selected specific experiences that would best serve your evolution. These aren't random accidents or cruel twists of fate, but rather precisely crafted scenarios designed to help you remember your true nature and develop specific qualities of consciousness. Consider how a loving parent might create learning situations for their child. They don't shield them from every difficulty, but rather allow them to face appropriate challenges that will help them develop strength, wisdom, and capability. Similarly, your higher self has orchestrated the perfect circumstances for your spiritual development. What may appear as struggles from the limited human perspective are actually sacred invitations to expand beyond your current understanding. Every relationship that triggers emotional pain is showing you where healing is needed. Each financial challenge presents an opportunity to release fears around survival and trust in the abundance of the universe. Health issues invite you to listen more deeply to your body's wisdom and address imbalances in your life. Even the most difficult losses create space for something new to emerge while teaching the impermanence of all earthly attachments. These struggles serve as initiations, doorways to greater awareness and embodiment of your divine nature. Just as pressure creates diamonds, the friction of challenging experiences polishes the soul. When you begin to view your difficulties through this lens, resistance naturally diminishes. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you can inquire, "What is this here to teach me? How is this serving my highest good?" Your soul knows exactly what experiences will best catalyze your awakening. It understands that comfort zones rarely lead to transformation. Real growth often requires being pushed beyond familiar territory into new ways of being. What feels like breakdown from the ego's perspective is usually breakthrough from the soul's vantage point. The very experiences that challenge you most directly are often carrying the greatest gifts of wisdom. This doesn't mean you should seek out suffering or resign yourself to pain. Rather, it's an invitation to find the deeper meaning and purpose within your current circumstances. Every struggle contains a seed of opportunity when approached with awareness. Instead of rejecting difficult experiences, you can embrace them as sacred teachers on your path of awakening. The key is maintaining perspective during challenging times. Remember that you are not your struggles. You are the infinite consciousness witnessing and learning through them. Your essential nature remains untouched by any temporary difficulty. By staying grounded in this truth while fully showing up for the lessons at hand, you allow wisdom to emerge naturally. Your struggles are not punishment or mistakes. They are precisely what your soul chose for its continued evolution. When you trust in this divine planning, peace becomes possible even amidst difficulty. You can rest in knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly for your highest good, even when you can't see how in the moment. The very challenges that seem to be obstacles are actually stepping stones on your path to remembrance. See your struggles as sacred initiations rather than problems to be solved. Approach them with curiosity rather than resistance. Ask what they're here to teach you rather than why they're happening to you. Trust that your infinite wisdom knows exactly what experiences will best serve your awakening. When embraced with this understanding, even the most difficult circumstances become opportunities for profound transformation. Lesson 6. Physical limitations exist to accelerate soul expansion. The physical realm presents us with countless limitations: time, space, gravity, aging, and the fundamental laws of nature that govern our earthly experience. While these constraints may often feel restricting or challenging, they serve a profound spiritual purpose in accelerating our soul's growth and expansion. Like a diamond formed under intense pressure, our consciousness evolves most rapidly when faced with resistance. Our physical bodies represent one of the most significant limitations we encounter. They require constant maintenance, experience pain and pleasure, age over time, and eventually cease functioning. Yet these very limitations create the perfect conditions for spiritual development. When we can't immediately manifest our desires, we develop patience. When our bodies experience discomfort, we learn compassion. When we face mortality, we discover what truly matters. The constraints of time and space force us to make choices and establish priorities. We cannot be everywhere at once or do everything simultaneously. These limitations compel us to discern what holds the greatest meaning for us and how to best use our finite resources. Through this process, we develop wisdom, discernment, and a deeper understanding of our values and purpose. Material limitations around money, resources, and opportunities also serve as catalysts for growth. When we can't have everything we want, we must tap into our creativity, develop resilience, and learn to appreciate what we do have. Scarcity consciousness transforms into abundance awareness as we recognize that our true wealth lies in our infinite spiritual nature rather than external circumstances. Even our mental and emotional limitations provide acceleration points for consciousness expansion. When we bump up against the edges of our understanding, beliefs, or emotional capacity, we're invited to stretch beyond our comfort zone. Our triggers and reactions spotlight areas calling for healing and integration. Our confusion and uncertainty create openings for greater wisdom to emerge. The physical realm operates like a resistance training gym for the soul. Just as muscles grow stronger when working against weight, our spiritual awareness expands most powerfully when engaging with limitation. Each constraint we encounter presents an opportunity to remember our true infinite nature and express it more fully through our human experience. Rather than viewing limitations as obstacles to overcome or escape, we can embrace them as sacred tools for evolution. When we meet physical challenges with presence and curiosity, they reveal deeper truths about who we are beyond all constraint. Our limitations become our greatest teachers when we approach them with a willingness to learn and grow. The key lies in maintaining awareness of our eternal, unlimited nature while fully engaging with earthly limitations. This creates an alchemical process where restriction gives birth to expansion. Instead of fighting against physical constraints, we can dance with them, allowing their natural resistance to strengthen our spiritual muscles and accelerate our awakening. Every limitation contains within it the seed of transcendence. As we embrace our constraints with consciousness, they naturally dissolve into greater freedom. The very act of accepting our limitations with grace helps us move beyond them. We discover that true liberation comes not from escaping physical reality, but from fully embodying our infinite spirit within it. Our earthly limitations are not punishment or imprisonment, but precisely calibrated conditions for optimal spiritual growth. When we understand this truth, we can appreciate how each constraint serves our highest evolution. The physical realm becomes our devoted ally in remembering and expressing our boundless divine nature. Lesson 7. Fear vanishes when you remember your eternal nature. Fear is perhaps the most pervasive illusion in human experience, yet it dissolves instantly when we reconnect with our eternal nature. Like shadows disappearing in the presence of light, fear cannot exist in the consciousness of our true immortal being. The fear we experience stems from identifying solely with our temporary physical form and forgetting our vast, infinite essence. When we believe we are only this body-mind, we naturally fear its loss, damage, or death. We worry about the future, regret the past, and anxiously try to control our circumstances. Yet this fear-based existence is unnecessary suffering born from a case of mistaken identity. You are not merely this temporary expression. You are the eternal consciousness experiencing itself through this particular form. Consider how you remain the same aware presence throughout all the changes in your life. Your body has completely transformed since childhood. Your thoughts and emotions constantly shift. Yet something unchanging witnesses it all. This witnessing awareness is your true nature, the deathless consciousness that cannot be threatened or destroyed. It exists before birth and continues after death, taking on various forms while remaining forever untouched. When you rest in this eternal awareness, fear naturally falls away because you recognize there is nothing to protect and nothing to lose. The body may age and eventually expire, but you are not the body. You are that which knows the body. Circumstances may change, but you are not circumstances. You are the unchanging space in which all circumstances arise and dissolve. This understanding transforms how we relate to death and loss. Death is not an end but a transition, like changing clothes when they are worn out. Loss is not final but part of the endless dance of forms coming and going in consciousness. When you know yourself as eternal awareness, death loses its sting and fear loses its grip. Living from eternal awareness doesn't mean becoming reckless or disconnected from human experience. Rather, it allows us to fully engage with life free from the contraction of fear. We can love deeply without attachment, act boldly without anxiety, and embrace change without resistance. Our human journey becomes an adventure of exploration rather than a struggle for survival. Practical ways to remember and embody our eternal nature include meditation, self-inquiry, and conscious breathing. In meditation, we learn to rest as the aware space rather than identifying with passing thoughts and sensations. Self-inquiry helps us recognize what remains constant amidst all change. Conscious breathing anchors us in present moment awareness, where eternity touches time. We can also cultivate immortality consciousness through contemplating the cycles of nature, how forms continuously transform while the essence remains. The oak tree appears to die in winter only to resurrect in spring. Water shifts between solid, liquid, and vapor while remaining H2O. Similarly, consciousness takes on countless forms while its essential nature never changes. Fear dissolves not through fighting or suppressing it, but by shining the light of awareness on its root cause, the belief in separation and mortality. As we remember our eternal nature, fear naturally gives way to peace, trust, and joy. We recognize that nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. What we truly are is forever safe, whole, and free. This realization brings profound relief and liberation. We no longer need to live in fear's shadow or be driven by anxiety about future uncertainties. Instead, we can rest in the unshakable peace of our immortal essence while fully participating in life's remarkable journey. This is true fearlessness, not the absence of fear, but the presence of an unshakable knowing of our eternal nature. Lesson 8. Each moment perfectly serves your journey to remembrance. The present moment holds the key to spiritual awakening and the remembrance of our true nature. When we fully embrace each moment as it unfolds, we discover that life orchestrates itself with perfect divine timing, guiding us steadily toward greater awareness and understanding. Every experience, whether perceived as positive or negative, serves as a stepping stone on our path to remembrance. The mind often pulls us away from the present, dwelling in past regrets or future anxieties. Yet our authentic power lies in our ability to remain centered in the now. This moment contains all the wisdom, guidance, and opportunity we need for our spiritual evolution. When we resist what is happening now, we create internal friction that blocks our natural flow toward awakening. Sacred synchronicity reveals itself when we maintain present moment awareness. The universe communicates through meaningful coincidences, chance encounters, and perfectly timed events that guide us toward our highest good. These synchronicities become more apparent when we release our mental constructs about how things should be and instead trust in the divine orchestration of our journey. Living in alignment means accepting each moment as if we had chosen it ourselves. This acceptance doesn't imply passive resignation, but rather an active engagement with life from a place of deep trust and awareness. When we align with the present moment, we open ourselves to receive its hidden gifts and teachings. Every interaction, every challenge, and every joy serves as a mirror reflecting our journey toward remembrance. Mindfulness serves as a practical tool for staying present and recognizing the perfection in each moment. By observing our thoughts, emotions, and sensations without judgment, we create space for deeper awareness to emerge. This practice helps us notice the subtle ways life guides us toward greater understanding and integration of our true nature. The present moment also reveals our resistance to what is, showing us where we hold on to limiting beliefs and patterns that keep us stuck in suffering. By bringing conscious awareness to these points of resistance, we allow them to dissolve naturally, clearing the path for our continued evolution. Each moment of awareness becomes an opportunity for healing and transformation. Time itself operates differently when viewed through the lens of spiritual awakening. Rather than a linear progression from past to future, we begin to experience time as a spiral of expanding consciousness, with each moment containing the potential for complete awakening. The now moment becomes a portal through which we can access our infinite nature and remember our connection to the whole. Our journey to remembrance unfolds with perfect timing, though it may not always align with our ego's expectations or desires. Trusting this divine timing requires surrendering our need to control outcomes and instead allowing life to guide us naturally toward our highest expression. Each delay, detour, and apparent obstacle serves a purpose in our greater unfoldment. As we deepen our presence in each moment, we naturally align with the flow of universal intelligence. This alignment brings ease and grace to our journey. Even amid challenges, we begin to recognize that every experience serves our awakening and nothing is random or meaningless. The universe conspires in every moment to help us remember our true nature. The practice of present moment awareness gradually dissolves the illusion of separation and reveals the underlying unity of all existence. Through this dissolution, we discover that each moment perfectly reflects our state of consciousness and provides exactly what we need for our next step of growth. By fully embracing the now, we accelerate our journey toward remembrance and experience the joy of living in harmony with universal truth. Living from this understanding transforms ordinary moments into sacred opportunities for awakening. Every breath, every interaction, and every experience becomes a chance to deepen our connection with our true nature and remember the eternal wisdom that resides within us. The present moment becomes our greatest teacher, guiding us home to the truth of who we really are. Final lesson: ultimate freedom comes from embracing universal oneness. True freedom emerges when we fully embrace our inherent oneness with all that exists. This profound truth transcends intellectual understanding and must be experienced directly through the heart. As we deepen into this recognition of universal oneness, the imagined boundaries between self and other naturally dissolve, revealing the infinite expanse of pure consciousness that we truly are. The journey to embracing universal oneness begins with releasing our attachment to the separate self-identity. This limited self-concept creates an illusory barrier between our individual awareness and the vast ocean of being from which we arise. Through meditation, self-inquiry, and present moment awareness, we can systematically deconstruct these mental boundaries until only the pure light of unified consciousness remains. Living as universal oneness transforms every aspect of our human experience. Relationships become expressions of love meeting itself in different forms. Work becomes sacred service to the whole. Nature reveals itself as our extended body. Even difficulties are recognized as consciousness exploring itself through temporary conditions. This shift in perspective liberates us from the suffering created by identification with a limited personal self. The state of oneness is actually our natural condition, though it often feels distant due to our habitual focus on separation and duality. Like waves temporarily appearing distinct from the ocean, we too arise from and return to the infinite field of pure awareness. Our task is not to create unity but to remove the veils of conditioning that obscure our recognition of what already is. Freedom dawns as we learn to rest in and as universal consciousness while simultaneously honoring our unique human expression. This paradoxical truth allows us to fully participate in life while remaining grounded in our eternal, unchanging nature. We can celebrate our individuality as a beautiful expression of the one consciousness playing in form without becoming trapped in the illusion of separation. Practical integration of oneness consciousness involves bringing this understanding into our daily experience. We can practice seeing others as ourselves in different forms, treating all beings with the same care we'd give to our own body. We can approach challenges as opportunities to know ourselves more deeply. We can let love guide our choices, knowing it flows from our true nature as unified awareness. The ultimate freedom discovered through embracing universal oneness is unconditional. It doesn't depend on external circumstances or temporary states of consciousness. It's the natural result of recognizing our true identity as boundless awareness. This recognition dissolves the root cause of all suffering, the belief in separation, revealing the peace and joy that are our birthright. Living from oneness consciousness doesn't mean losing our unique human perspective. Rather, it allows us to move through life with greater wisdom, compassion, and spontaneous right action. We continue to play our role in the world while knowing our essential nature transcends all roles and forms. This integration of absolute truth with relative existence brings profound freedom and fulfillment. The invitation is to explore universal oneness not just as a philosophical concept, but as a lived reality. Through consistent practice and sincere inquiry, we can progressively awaken to our true nature as infinite consciousness expressing itself as all that is. This awakening is the ultimate freedom, the recognition that we are already and eternally one with the source of all being. As we embrace universal oneness more deeply, we naturally become instruments of healing and awakening for all beings. Our presence radiates the truth of unity consciousness, helping others remember their own divine nature. This is the greatest service we can offer, living as a clear expression of the one consciousness that is our shared essence and reality.